Hey there guys, this is Gary and welcome back to Get Going Fast, the place where we get into this AI hobby in hopefully sort of a quick and efficient manner in which you're going to learn something along the way. So we are going through a text-to-speech revolution at the moment. So much stuff coming out that it's kind of hard to keep track of. You pause for a moment and like so much other stuff, it just kind of gets behind you, doesn't it? And that's sort of how these things work. They go in cycles. I would typically say that things like your video generation, your image generation, those are your priority apps that are getting worked on. So you see a lot of new stuff coming and you'll get your Hunyuans, you'll get your Wan 2.1s, all this kind of stuff coming out. And then once you've kind of settled into the next state of the art over there, then it starts to move back to your text-to-speech, and then you go to your lip syncing, you go to all this stuff. And text-to-speech is one of those things which obviously is very popular, but it's a little bit down on the to-do list. But we've reached that point now where all of a sudden they're focusing on it again, and stuff is coming out. We've had a Zonos here recently, which just came out. That was awesome. We had the U stuff. We're actually starting to make our own music out of there, and now they have popped out with Kokoro. And Kokoro is the newest, best, I would say, just with the way that it gets your it just does inflections well, it does voices well. Okay, and I'm going to show you some features of this which blow everything away, but we'll get into that. Okay, there are some shortcomings to this app, but there is some definite streams. And I'm going to tell you, if you're one of these people that are wanting to use this stuff for your ebooks and stuff like that, guess what, guys? This is the app. This is the one. She's going to stream for you. You can put in as much text as you want, and it'll handle it. So really, really next level stuff here. So we're going to get into that, and I'm going to show you how to install it and how to use it. But first, I do want to thank you so much for liking the channel, sharing the videos, telling people about it. You know how you can really show your commitment. Go down to the DMV, just sit there for grab a number, sit there for 2 or 3 hours, and then when you get to the counter, just say, I'm actually not here for anything regarding my vehicle. I just wanted to ask you if you heard about Get Going Fast and what your thoughts about AI are. That is a totally normal thing to do, and I'm sure that they'll be impressed by your dedication, as I very much am. Thank you so very much for doing that. All right, well, we're going to move on here, but first, do please go like us on Instagram, follow us on Instagram, go find us on the Reddits. We're going to treat you nice on Reddit. No one going to treat you nice over there. We're going to treat you real nice. Come find us on X. Okay, we are over on the Discords. Come be part of the community over there. There are people chatting it up during the day. Sometimes she gets real slow. Other times it's hopping, all right? So come and be a part of that. We would love to see what you're working on and, collaborate and all that good stuff. So in the meanwhile, we're going to pop on here with getting up with this awesome TTS stuff. It is called Kokoro. So let's get on it, yo. Okay, so as usual, first thing we're going to do is pop on over to our browser. We're going to be looking for this GitHub repository over here. That is called Kokoro. So just to find it, we'll just do a Google search for Kokoro. And again, I always like to add GitHub to the end of it. It helps. And you're going to find this one by HexGrad. Okay, so hey, click it. And this is the one that we want. Now, this is really not that difficult of installation, but it is a little bit confusing. They've hidden the demo here under this demo thing. So we're going to have to install some stuff. And the instructions do not really... they don't really show you what to do. So some of this, if you've been tracking with me on how to do this stuff, then this stuff is going to be second nature for you. You're going to be like, oh, well, I got to install my virtual environment and I've got to install CUDA and all that good stuff. And so some of this stuff, you're just going to have to remember that that's what you got to do. So they do have, we're going to go down here, see that they've got stuff for Colab. I don't really know Colab. A lot of people ask about Colab. Not a Colab guy. That's typically for running stuff off on another person's computer, like renting GPU space. As you know, with Get Going Fast, most stuff I'm working on here, in fact, almost all, it's 99.9%, is run it on your local machine. Okay, so I don't really know about that. This does give us a conda environment. If you're having issues, you can install this via the YAML file, and I think that is up here. Basically, a .yaml file is simply a quick go. It says create this environment and install these things into the environment. So it's kind of a quick way. You can look on ChatGPT on how to do that. We're not going to do that. We're just going to go straight to our command prompt and jump in, because that's the kind of yo boys we are. We just get right in and say tap, 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 tap. We're going to get it done. So we're going to jump into that. I do want to show you that over here on the Get Going Fast page, we have a Kokoro TTS Plus. So the version that we have been playing with over here, this is the Plus version. It basically looks the same, except for that we've added an ability to upload your ebooks into here, and it will actually break them into chapters. So the one that we're going to be building today does not have the ability to upload your own EPUB or PDF, nor break it into chapters. And that, of course, is good, because then later you can come back and load it up. Okay, but everything else is going to be the same. We're going to have the ability to generate stuff. We're going to stream stuff, which is really the benefit of this. I'm going to tell you, the generate button here is going to only make 15 seconds. Does not matter how much stuff you put in there. It is going to create 15 seconds of text at the most. Okay, so it's not a great solution for big stuff, but the stream stuff, you can throw in pages and pages and pages, and you can throw in 10 minutes worth of text, and it will stream it, and then you're able to download it, and that is the benefit of this app. Okay, I do want to show you one other thing here. This does not have the ability to clone voices, so it has a bunch of pre-made voices in here, so you're going to be able to choose between them, generate
Chapter
them.
XXIV.
Okay, well, that wasn't that exciting. But here, let's do this. Get that up there. But you're going to be able to choose different ones, hear the different voices.
Not long afterwards, Sonia sat in the drawing room at Stonehenge Lodge, nerving herself for the ordeal. Directly she got...
All right, you go through here. They got a bunch of different choices for you.
Not long afterwards, Sonia sat in the drawing room at Stonehenge Lodge, nerving herself for the ordeal. Directly she got inside the house.
That's not a bad voice, okay? But again, okay, so this one made 22 seconds. Now we're going to go over to our stream, and it'll just keep going and going and going and going. So one of the things I like to do is go find our Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Now watch this. I can just grab pages and pages. I could grab that. That's a lot of text, okay? So I could go back over here, throw this all into here, and then just start streaming it.
Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 92 million miles is an utterly insignificant little blue-green planet.
See, now it goes up to 319. So it will just keep generating this, and you'll eventually get the whole file, and then you'll just have, all you got to do is, when it's done, or I think click this little button, and you can save it. So that's actually really good. So you can put your ebooks in here, have it read it, download it, and put it onto your phone later if you want. Powerful, powerful, powerful. No ability to clone voices yet, but the ability to, a lot of choices here. Okay, so again, this is the Plus version here that you can get over on getgoingfast.pro, but we're going to do the normal one. So let's jump to it, yo. Okay, so looking at our GitHub repository here, gonna notice they've got this PyProject.toml, which again is sort of a setup for yourself. We're not going to worry about that. We're going to be wanting to run this demo. So let's click into here. We're going to end up getting this whole repository, but we're going to spend our time in here. And notice it's going to have a requirements.txt file. That's typically where your dependencies are going to be. So we could click into this, and you're going to see there's actually not that great, that exciting of stuff going on here. It's going to install Kokoro. So Kokoro itself, they have put onto a package. You know how we use pip, right? Our Python package installer. Say that 5 times real fast. They've actually set it up so that you can just pip install Kokoro, but we're going to have other dependencies. Now this only has Gradio and pip. There's going to be other stuff that we need from this, so we'll just kind of blop through this, and add stuff as needed to be. So first of all, let's go ahead and clone this thing. I'm going to go back to the beginning of this. Now, again, you can clone it by clicking on this green button, and then it'll say over here, down here, you see it says GitHub repo clone hexgrad Kokoro. So just copy that, okay? Then what we do is we're going to pop over to our command prompt, okay? And from here, what we want to do is find a folder that is going to work for us. Now, I know a lot of you guys install this stuff on your desktop, and you should not do that. Do not install stuff on your desktop or in your downloads folder. It causes problems because those are actually systems folders, and they cause issue when you're trying to do stuff. So you want to be as close to your C drive or D drive as possible. Now, a good thing to do is maybe make a directory, just called AI apps or something like that. Okay, then what you can do, that's what I did there. I typed mkdir, that means make directory. I typed AI apps, okay? And I can type cd, means change directory, go into my AI apps. And then from in here, now I can install my Kokoro. So maybe what I'll do here is I'll just go ahead and do my command. I'm going to go, maybe I'll make another directory just for the sake of organization. We'll call it Kokoro TTS. Same thing. CD, Kokoro, TTS. Okay. I must have spelled that wrong. There we go. I forgot the O. All right. So now that we're in here, we've created a file structure that will help us to organize our system. Okay. Because you don't want to just stuff everywhere. It's confusing. This is, it's still more kind of computer science. You still want to keep your workstation clean, right? You don't want to eat a peanut butter sandwich on a table that's got roast beef from last night on it and some potatoes from the night before that. So organization's good. Okay. So we created a folder called AI apps. Then we created a folder called Kokoro. If we installed something else like Mimo Avatar, we could create a Mimo Avatar thing. If we installed Comfy UI, we could create Comfy UI. And then they're all in their own folders underneath AI apps. And I'll tell you, clean organization means clean, organized mind for the most part. All right, so now we want to go ahead and git clone this repository, which means we're going to pull down all of those files. So we're going to hit Control V, okay? Oh, but notice I put GH. What we want to do is get rid of this GH repo. We want to say git, okay, that's the name of the app that we're going to use that should be installed. You want the word clone, so we calling the app that's called git. We say, hey, git, I want you to clone something. And it says, what do you want you to clone? Well, I want you to clone this address. Now, notice I got the wrong thing here. So actually, let's go back to browser. I did this all wrong. Let's click on code and then click on this HTTPS. There we go. Now we get the address. Okay, so now we'll go back here and we say, git, I want you to clone. And what do I want you to clone? Well, I want you to clone this address. And it's going to go ahead and pull everything down, and it's going to create another folder called Kokoro. Okay, so you see it's cloning into Kokoro. It comes down like the matrix. Okay, and now if I type dir, which means directory, you're going to see it's created my Kokoro folder. Okay, now I'm going to go into here. I'm going to go cd Kokoro, and now I can type dir, and I can see all the different files. Okay, now we can't just run anything yet because we have to install our virtual environment. We've got to install our dependencies, the things that help it to run, all that good stuff, okay? And some of that's going to be here under the demo, right? CD demo, and we'll see it all there. Okay, but I will tell you that for this to work, we need Conda we need Python 3.12. So whenever an app is requiring a particular Python version for us, we choose to use a Conda virtual environment. Now, if you remember, there's multiple types of virtual environments that we use. We use our Python virtual environments, which is our Vim, VEMV folder, and we use our mini Conda folder, and they have different benefits. The Vim is nice because it's just really easy to type. It's localized in the directory. If you want to get rid of it, you just delete the directory, but it sticks with whatever version of Python you have on your system. So if I have 3.10 on my system, it creates a virtual environment in 3.10, which means that I can't, if a software is requiring a different version of Python, I'm kind of out of luck. Okay, that's where Miniconda comes in. Miniconda, actually, I could have 3.10 on my system, but then I could install 3.9 or 3.12 or whatever I need within that Conda environment. The difference, though, is that it's more of a general thing. It puts it more into the system. It's not as localized. So there's trade-offs on the two. Okay, so I typically like Python virtual environments, but recognize that sometimes you got to have a Conda virtual environment. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we need to create a Conda virtual environment for us to do this in. So making sure that Miniconda is installed on your computer, you can test it by typing Conda, and it should bring up something like this. If it says it does not recognize the command, it means Miniconda is not installed on your app. You also don't want to get Anaconda. Anaconda is the big brother to Miniconda. It's for people that are actually in the business that are doing this. It's a large scale solution. It is way too much. It's like hunting a squirrel with a bazooka. You don't need it. It's too much. So we use Miniconda. Okay, but if you type Conda and it comes in like this, then you're gold. If not, you need to go follow one of my other videos, how to install it, or go over to getgoingfast.pro, and I have our recommended AI setup script. Will do everything for you. All right, anyway, so we're going to go ahead and activate the creative environment. We're going to go Conda, and then we're going to say Conda, what do we want it to do? We want it to create something. But then we have to give it a variable, a parameter. We're going to say name. Okay, and let's call this Kokoro. Okay, but I'm going to call mine Kokoro 2 because I already have a Kokoro on here. But you just name yours Kokoro. Okay, and then what we got to do is, you can't see that. Let me bring this in so you can see this a little bit better. Then we're going to type Python equals 3.12. Okay, and that means even though I've got Python 3.10 on my system, it's going to install Python into this virtual environment. Now, we normally don't want to use 3.12 if we can help it because it breaks most stuff, okay? But for this app, they were asking for it. Okay, so we'll let this goes through. It's going to ask us for permission here in just a second. Okay, you can see this, and we'll just proceed yes. And we just kind of wait. So virtual environments, again, I've said this a million times, but virtual environments are basically like they keep your computer safe, they keep your app safe from the stuff on your computer. So if you got crappy stuff on your computer, your app is still going to run with the good stuff, and it keeps your computer safe from the stuff you're installing with your app. So it's kind of it's like a two-way thing, okay? It's like where the computer and the app kiss, but there's a piece of plastic in the middle, okay? So now, once we create it, we still need to activate it. So what good would it do to have a tabletop cover for your table if you didn't put it on the table? It doesn't do any good. So we type Conda, again, that's the name of the app, and then we say activate. We want you to activate an environment, and then we call it the one that we just named it. So I named mine Kokoro 2. So you just press enter, and then notice it activates it. And you can tell you're activated because it says Kokoro 2 right there. Okay? So there you go. Now, for us NVIDIA users, we need to make sure that we get the CUDA toolkit installed. Now, if you've been following with Get Going Fast, we changed it up. We used to do the CUDA toolkit 11.8, but we've moved up into the 12s now because AI stuff is starting to go that direction. So we're going to have to do a little something different than what we've done in the past. We're going to click on over to our browser, okay? And what we're going to do is do a Google search for Conda install CUDA toolkit 12, okay? And you're going to be looking for this thing here from Anaconda. And it'll say CUDA toolkit. You're going to click it. It's going to bring up all these options of kind of different ways to do it. We used to do one where we just use the straight NVIDIA pack. We're going to need to do it this way, okay? So we're going to just grab this version 12.3, 12.6. Even though we have 12.8 on our system, it's okay. Grab the 12.6.3. It's not going to matter. It's going to be just easier. So we're going to grab that, copy and paste it. Then we're going to go back to our command terminal, noticing that we're inside our virtual environment, okay? we're just going to hit Control V. And this is going to Conda. Again, we're calling Conda. We're relying on Conda a lot. Say, hey, Conda, thank you so much. You've created for me. You've activated for me. Now, Conda, I need to ask you something else. I want you to install something for me. And then we're telling it to go to this place. We're giving it a catalog to look at. Say, go to this catalog, go to the Amazon catalog, look under the video game section, under the action games, under shooting, okay? And we're drilling it down into a very precise place. We're saying NVIDIA label, CUDA 12.6, and then grab the CUDA toolkit. Out of, when you get there, grab this. So that's what we're doing. We're boop, 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 booping. And we're just going to go ahead and press enter. And it's going to go ahead and do kind of the same thing, make us wait. Conda is a little bit slow with some of this stuff, so you have to be okay with moments of patience. And it says, do you want us to proceed? We're going to go, well, yeah, I wouldn't ask you if I didn't want you to. So we'll put yes. Okay. Going to go through, do all this, and mine was already installed here, so we're all good. Now I'm going to type CLS to kind of to clear the screen. Now I'm going to do one other thing, even though the app isn't really asking for it. I'm going to go ahead and install Torch, just because that's just a good idea to do. So I'm going to go back to my browser and type Torch install, hit start locally, and then I'm going to go down here and I'm going to choose my CUDA version. Notice there is no Torch for 12.8, so we're just going to, that's also why we chose the Conda 12.6, because it needs to work with our Torch. I'm going to grab all of this down here. Okay, I'm going to keep that pip3 there. I'm not going to grab that, but I'm going to grab everything else. Then I'm going to go back to my command terminal. I'm going to type pip. Now instead of Conda, we've been like, Conda, thank you. You've been so good to us. You've done so much good stuff for us. Now we're going to use your other friend over here, pip. Pip is our Python package installer. It does kind of the same thing that Conda does. And then I'm going to hit Control V. So we're going to say, pip, I want you to install Torch, Torch Vision, Torch Audio, and from this place. But tell you what, Torch, we don't actually want Torch Vision. So let's go get rid of this. We're just going to press the left arrow, go over and delete that. I want to make this small for you again. I wish you could. Let's see here. Maybe if I do this, hold on. Let's do that for a second. Okay. You can see now what it's going to do here is it's going to install Kokoro. We're in our virtual environment. Pip install Torch and Torch Audio. So by putting space there, we're saying this one and this one. Then we're giving it these dashes, means it's a parameter. We're saying we want you to install these, but from a particular place. And then this is the place. Okay? So we'll go ahead and hit enter, and that will go ahead and start to rip snort up. They're installing our Torch for us. It was the torchiest times. It was the best of times. It was the torchiest of times. And we'll pause it here for a second because this typically takes a little while for Torch to install. So thank God I had it downloaded. This is kind of a bigger download, so if you have a slower internet, it'll take it. This thing's always going to take you a little bit of time. But the good thing is it caches. So like me, I didn't have to download it because it was already cached in my system. But it still has to install it. So we'll pause. We'll probably be back in a couple minutes. Don't worry, I'm right here. I'm not leaving you far behind. You're not even going to notice I was gone. Okay, and we're back, and you didn't even notice I was gone. It was so fast. Now it's done doing this, but notice it caused some issues here, but we're just going to ignore those for now. Sometimes, basically what this is saying is that it says that something, it just says it doesn't take into account all the packages that are installed. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, we're in our demo thing. Now let's go ahead and install our requirements. So let's go pip install -r, so pip again, we're saying we want to install, we use this -r for requirements .txt. So we're going to say pip install from a file, the name of the file is requirements.txt. So now it's going to go through here, it's going to collect all this stuff. Now this is where the Kokoro stuff is going to come in, because really all that was in that file was Kokoro and Gradio, but Kokoro is going to have a bunch of dependencies that it requires. Okay, So that makes me think, honestly, this is when you hear me talking a lot about system pollution, making sure that stuff stays in your virtual environment, not in your base. I think what happened here was that Kokoro, as I was working with this earlier, made it into my base system. So I polluted my base system with dependencies. I didn't keep it as clean. Not a big deal. I can just go install. But that's a great lesson as to why not to do that, because all of a sudden errors come up that you're like, the error doesn't make sense. And it's because, because something's where it shouldn't have been. But it's going to be okay because we're overriding it now with our requirements.txt file. We're doing the weight dance. Yo. Okay, I might pause it again here because I'm running out of moves. I only got so many moves, and then I got to pause. Okay, we'll play this game I like to play. I'll hold up my finger here and we'll see if you can tell the difference between when I come back. I'm really bad at this game though. Okay, and we're back. So it went ahead and installed our requirements. Okay, so let's type CLS. Oops. Okay, and then we can type dir, and we can see we're still in our virtual environment. Okay. And the only thing left to do is run the app. So let's try to run the app. Now, it might throw an error. This is where I'm saying if we're missing dependencies, this is typically the point where it'll tell us and we'll just manually install them. But let's go Python. So Python is our, it runs py files. It's our compiler. So you write something in a certain language and it translates it into machine language so that it can be used with Windows or whatever. Okay. Oh, so here we go. So no module named Spaces. Okay, I'm glad this came up. So Hugging Face has a thing called Spaces where it can run demos. So we need to go in here and change out some code. So what we're going to do, we're going to type notepad app.py. And that is going to open up this, which is our notepad. Okay, so this is all of the code that is in our app. So what we're going to do is said it couldn't find spaces. So notice it says import spaces. We're just going to delete it. Get rid of it. We don't need it. Then I'm going to hit Control F and I'm going to type the word spaces in there again. And you see, oh, here's another line with it in this GPU duration. Get rid of it. So again, this is used for Hugging Face's online demo. It's actually called Hugging Face Spaces. We're going to do that. So now I press down. There's no more of those things. So we're fine. So now I can save this, close it out, and then go back to command terminal. Now let's try it again. Python app.py. I was trying to learn how to rat dance, but I'm so fat from sitting behind the computer. I did it for like 5 seconds. I mean, they were incredibly impressive 5 seconds, but I was like, oh, get me back to my AI. All right, so this is going to take a while. Now, one of the things about this is we'll probably have to pause again because it has to download models, okay? So a lot of times when how they'll have these things is sometimes apps, it'll say download this model, put it in this folder. Other times it connects directly and it just grabs what you need, which is what this is going to be doing. So we're going to let this pause again. I'll kind of keep track of how long it takes and we'll come back and it should be running. All right, while we're waiting here, let's check out some good music. Can be found anywhere on all major streaming platforms. Jim Day and the Better Stories. I got all sorts of great music for you to be programming to.
I've been driving long hours, and now it's plain to see that you're gone and the blame lies straight on me. On three, not checking in, talking on my CB while I'm smoking down the road. I've been flirting with the waitresses and drinking too much beer. I just came home and found that you're not here.
Okay, and here we go. That probably took like 3 minutes, 4 minutes for that first thing to run. And we're done here. And now notice it's given us an address to run it on, but it gave us these zeros. So we probably should have fixed that in the app. I can show you how to do that later, but pretty much here's what we're going to do. We're just going to copy that for now, and we're just going to paste it in. Oh, let's go back Make sure we got it. Now we'll go back to our browser. Okay, now we need to change these zeros. Okay, so that's basically means your local network, but it's not going to work directly in your browser. So we type 127.0.0.1. Then we leave everything else the same. And notice, there it is. It's going to come up. Okay, and you want to, I'm going to zoom in here a bit. You want, notice this here says 0 GPU. You want to make sure that that's where that is, because otherwise you're using your CPU. It's going to go slow, okay? So you want to, if this option is not showing up, it means something went wrong in the setup. But there you have it. Now we can go over, we can grab our Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy stuff, come back here, throw it into our input text. Now notice this is different than the Plus version. It doesn't have the upload your PDFs and all that kind of stuff, but it does have stream. So let's go down here. Notice we can change the speed of the talking. Let's go grab one down here. Let's grab this Liam in honor of Liam Neeson, although I don't think it sounds like him. But let's click it and let's click generate.
Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of.
Okay, and notice it only did a few seconds, but we're going to go over to our stream.
Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end
There you
of.
go.
The western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun.
Okay.
Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 92.
I want to show you something. Notice how he's reading and he's pausing. It's going the da-da-da. That's because as this got painted in here, let's go. Look, I put a ton of text in here. It put it in here with lines in it. So notice if I went back like that, it would fix it. Okay, so here's a trick. Rather than, because it's going to read these line breaks as pauses in the speech. So here's a trick. Go Control A, copy it all, then go over to your Chat GPT and just throw it in there and say, remove the extra lines from this. And then paste it in there. That might be too much text, but so let's get a reasonable amount. Okay. And then it'll clean it up for you, okay? Otherwise, you have to go there, hammerhead. Now, again, with the Plus version that I've got over Get Going Fast here, if you upload your EPUB, it's just going to put it all into one giant paragraph. So it does get rid of all of that extra for you. But now we can go here. We can copy this all. Got rat dance in my head now. I'm sitting here humming it. Now we could stream this.
Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm of the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Orbiting this at a distance of roughly 92 million.
Okay, so obviously that fixed it up. You're not having those blank spots. So I do want to show you one other thing here. Under the generate, if you're going to have it generate stuff, obviously there's words that don't work. It has these output tokens. Now, this looks like Greek or something like that, okay? This is actually called Markdown language. As you see down here, it says customized pronunciation with Markdown link, syntax, and slashes. So, I've actually never pressed this tokenize button. Let's get rid of some of this. Let's see what this tokenize button does. I was going to have you do this a different way, but let's see what this button does. Okay, and so actually it tokenized it to, it turned it into this language. This is actual language. So watch, if we copy this and we go back to our Chat GPT and we could say, translate, God, I could type. This markdown language and then paste it in there, it's going to know it. So it says it's written in the International Phonetic Alphabet. Far out in the uncharted backwaters of the unfashionable end of the western spiral arm, the galaxy lies a small, unregarded yellow sun. Isn't that incredible? So how that's going to help you is if you're trying to do some personal stuff, like you've got a word in there, say maybe it's even your name, okay, and it's not pronouncing your name right, go use ChatGPT. Explain to ChatGPT how it sounds, and then ask it how to put it into Markdown language, and then you can actually put in there the sentence that you want, and then oh god, I got rapids. Anyway, then you can actually have it pronounce it the way that you want it to pronounce. Very cool app. So you can play with this. Throw stuff in there. Streaming is really where it's at. Like I showed you, you can throw as much stuff as you want in here, and it will just continually go. It just keeps a tally of going, and then you can save it, and then later on play it off your phone or whatever. Okay, so again, over here, the TTS Plus version, we're going to be able to upload an EPUB, and then actually you're going to have your different ones here. So whatever you upload, you can keep on here, and then you can just load it up automatically. Okay? And whoops, that was because that was, but you can load it up automatically, and it will show you everything that you need to be. There we go. Okay, and then you can load up your stuff. So, all right, well, there you have it, guys. That is Kokoro. Very cool stuff. This is the latest and greatest TTS. There's more stuff coming on. Someone was just telling about something else I've got to check out here soon. So we'll be talking more TTS. But honestly, as your ebook reader, this is what you want. If you've been looking for something that will read your web pages for you, this is it. Okay, read your ebook. This is the app. This app is super nice. It's very good. So I hope you enjoy that. And we're going to leave her there. So in the meanwhile, you stay good. And as always, we're going to see you on the other side. Yo.